slipped in a carini. Got some things you say and do. Tell me your brain cells off a few, and that is why I hate you. What's up, everybody?
How's everybody doing?
It's time for the show. That's all I got to say about that. And that is why I hate you. Hey, everybody! We're here for our 7th straight episode. I think we've officially established a pattern again.
Still a struggle.
It's still a struggle, but you can count on us for now. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Man, dude, that kid last night at Taekwondo.
Oh my god,
kid was a piece of shit.
Yeah, my wife and I were kind of having a discussion about it, and it kept bothering me like through the night.
I don't blame you. Our children did Taekwondo last night. At which
Yeah.
Joaquim's wife is a teacher, and there's this one kid that's just an asshole. And it's funny that we're two grown men on a podcast talking about this kid who's probably like 12, who's an asshole.
I mean, okay, so I think he's younger, but he's like really big for his age. Like you think
so?
He has like one more growth spurt before he's taller than I am. Maybe like a year older, but he's around my daughter's age.
Oh, okay. All right, I gotcha.
He likes to pick on my son, who's 6.
Right.
And he likes to rally my daughter to pick on him.
Yeah, that's
and I've seen it happen a few times, but I'll let the instructors or my wife or anyone else to like handle it and do the right thing. And usually, like with the kid's dad, I have a good relationship with the kid's dad. So him and I will talk and whatnot, and he is on top of it when his son is acting up.
But he's not
just like I am with my kids.
There though.
But so he hasn't recently because he started court officer training, which he has to go state. He has to go almost like all the way upstate, and he can barely come home like over the weekend. And so, and I recognize the process because I was going to be a court officer. So he's doing that. So the mother has to do it. The mother never comes in.
Right.
This is seeing her last night was the first time I've ever seen her.
Well, not only does she wait outside, she doesn't even come in when it's over. She just waits outside on the curb for him to come out.
Yep. She waits in the fire lane. She brings her son late and she picks him up late.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
good parenting. So
soon as I come in with my kids, because we weren't coming for the class, my daughter had an appointment. Then we showed up there. And, I saw Matt, said hello because his son was taking the class. As soon as class ended, that the boy comes up and goes to my daughter and goes, "Oh, man, I'm so glad your son wasn't in class today." And he said with like this wry smile on his face. And I'm standing there holding both of my kids. And I look at him dead in his face. I go, "Go away. If you're going to come here with that, walk away. I'm done with you bullying my son."
That's the perfect situation where you see in cartoons and stuff where there's just a short pause followed by the other person slapping the other one.
Yeah, but that's all I
was. That's what I was like. I would have wanted to slap him right in the fucking face.
Yeah. So all I said was that. Oh, I did say next time it happens, I'm talking to your father.
Right. I heard you say that.
And I was expecting him to argue with me because he argues with everybody.
Yes, he does.
I mean, apparently earlier during that class, he pushed one of the girls.
He did.
My wife had to reprimand him.
He did.
And he lied about it.
As he was doing that, I texted your wife, "This kid is an asshole and he smells bad." And then I was like, "And I'm scheduling this for later so it doesn't go off during class."
Yeah. So, actually, she showed me that. That was funny.
Yeah.
So he walks off and he starts, and he's usually very loud. Very talkative, but he was now stuttering. So I guess I terrified him.
You did.
Nobody talks to
bullshit.
Him. Nobody does that, and I was just not having it that day because I haven't been feeling well recently.
Well,
so
it shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter any day. You shouldn't.
Yeah,
any day.
But on top of that, I don't like somebody picks on my kids. That goes for anybody. They pick on your kids. You have that instinct. Absolutely. But usually, I try to have a calmer mind about it, especially because I'm talking to a child. But I went straight dad mode, and as you saw it, and he was then apologized. He apologized instantaneously.
Right. I kind of
And
heard him. He was mumbling though, so I
he was
couldn't hear it all.
mumbling. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
mumbling the whole time. So he walks up to me, and I had never moved from the spot, and he's now mumbling to me something. Can I tell you something I'm thinking? What? You know what? Sure.
That's how he put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was scared.
I was like, sure. He goes, I feel like your son has a lot of energy, and it's like, yeah, that's fine, but that doesn't, one, give you a right to pick on him, and two, as an adult, people my age think the same about you. We think
Right.
you have too much energy, but you have to have patience with people younger than you.
No, that's fair. Makes sense.
And so I'm not going to hold this against you. I just don't want you to see you do it again. And I shook his hand, and he was still mumbling like something, and he was walking out because his mom apparently saw him talking. Because I'm don't want
but
it.
then I shook your hand when we went to leave, so that means whatever gross stuff is on his hand, it makes him smell bad. Put on your hand.
Hopefully
and
you washed your hands.
Sorry, go ahead.
That was so childish. But
Who
yeah,
do you think you're talking to?
I know. I'm not thinking right now.
I know. Anyway,
but he goes walk out. His mom comes in, and she's now, I guess, being a parent, and going, what happened? Now, mind you, she asked him first.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah, she asked him first. Because she hasn't walked in, and he's trying to walk out. He doesn't want to be in the situation anymore.
Yeah, he's like, can we just leave this alone? Please.
And she won't leave it alone. So they walk out for a second, and then she comes back in staring at me. And I'm ready for it. Not in like a, yeah, let's fight kind of way, but like
right.
a, oh, here we go again kind of way.
Oh, here comes this broad to yell at me.
And she asks, and I told her exactly what happened. And I told her exactly what I said. And then her asking me what happened made sense. Obviously, an adult's talking to your child. You want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I'm holding my children.
Right.
So it's not like I'm threatening him, and I'm not yelling at him. The only time I even kind of raised my voice was the initial go away.
You didn't at all. All you did was just have basically spell it out like, look, this isn't okay. No, I saw the whole thing. You didn't do anything.
Good. For me, it seemed like I was yelling in my head, but I was trying to just stay calm because I was angry.
Anything out of the realm of what you should have done. No, I thought so, you were very not polite. That's not the right word. You were very just.
I think stern. Stern was where I was going for.
This isn't okay. Don't do it again. That's where you were. You weren't yelling. You weren't being belligerent. Nothing like that.
Okay. So I was fine with her asking because that's responsible. As a responsible parent, if you're not there for a situation, something involves your kid, you ask the adult who was dealing with your kid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then she has the nerve to go, well, if something happens, you need to come to the adult. You need to come to an adult. Well, first of all, I'm an adult, so shut your mouth. And that's what went in my head. But what came out of me was, well, if there was an adult here, I would have.
And you motherfucking burned her.
And
such a good burn.
And for me, it wasn't like I wasn't calling her a child, even though when I think about it, I probably passive aggressively was.
Right.
But ultimately, you never come in here.
No. Like you said,
don't
we've never
reprimand your child. You don't do anything. You know the way your child acts.
You would think she does. She has to. So yeah, you know your kid's in here being an asshole and you're not here to do anything about it. And that's where your wife has to then come in and be the parent figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, don't be an asshole. Don't push a girl.
Don't push a girl.
Fucking asshole.
And then if you did, own up to it.
Right.
So then she replies, and this kills me. She goes, oh, well, and yes, she did start stuttering, so I think I know where he got it from. She goes,
Biden?
She goes, well, his father, his not. Do you know his? Do you you speak to his father? I went, yes, I do. Because and she's like trying to double down on what she said to me.
The old
and
double
she's like, do you talk to his father? I went, yes, I do. He said, well, he's not here right now, so it's really hard. I went, okay. what else am I going to say?
What does that mean?
I
even,
don't give a crap about any of that situation.
It's
you
really
weren't
hard.
Here.
You were sitting outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, you weren't here. You need to do something about your kid. Oh, because when she said that, she tried to double down, and I told her, I'm not going to not defend my child.
Yeah, well, clearly, you could just stand there.
He did that in front of me, and I'm not going to let him. And my daughter gets in trouble when she bullies my son, and vice versa.
Right, same thing. Yep.
And I'm not going to let anybody bully anybody. Like, I'm not going to let my kids bully other kids, and I'm not going to have my kids get bullied.
Agreed. No,
and it's not like I threatened life or death or anything like that.
No,
I was being a parent, unlike what it seems like you're doing.
Your rights to do exactly what you did.
So, I said that's when she brought up her. She was like, "Well, you can defend your kid." I was like, "But you need to come to an adult." I'm like, that you're not here.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
Which adult am I supposed to come to?
Because
should I come knock on your window in the parking lot?
Yeah, at least at the end of class, when your husband was here, he would come in, and guess what? I would talk to him.
Right. Yep.
Me and him actually have very similar backgrounds, so we get along, and not because we're black. I knew what you were going with that.
You knew what I was going to say.
So, but yeah, just that and that was bothering me all night. My wife's going to talk to the Grandmaster because she has to inform him just in case she comes in and complains. But hopefully, like I was,
but that has nothing to do with them. Yeah. That's a parent.
It does. It has, but it happened in the school, and I am the husband of the instructor.
All right, fair enough.
And I did let her know that I'm the husband. I'm the instructor's husband. And she's had to reprimand him already.
Master won't care. He'll be like, whatever.
When it comes to
we should all.
He's really old.
Get together and hang out.
Yeah.
Dude, my favorite part last night. He's like, let's dance a little bit. He puts on White Snake.
Yep.
It was so great.
If you look at him, you could tell he was part of a hair band.
Dude, I loved it. I was like, this motherfucker's playing White Snake.
Yeah.
It's so good.
He's getting anyway. If I can think of the word zany, he is the definition of the word zany at this point.
Well, speaking of that woman just parking on the curb, dude, I go to pick up my kids yesterday, and for the third time in a row, I'm standing there, and where we pick up the kids, there's a bunch of parking spots, tons of parking, and then there's a big sign on the curb that says no parking on the curb during dismissal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the last several days, this woman pulls up, parks right on the curb, gets out of her car, walks in, gets her kid, and then walks back out and gets in the car on the curb. So the other day, she does it again, and there's this older gentleman, I say older, probably our parents' age, who's he's probably picking up his grandchild, who's there too. And I see him look over at her as she's getting out of the car, and then she starts walking in, and like our eyes meet, and he kind of like shakes his head a little at me, like,
yeah.
And I was like, dude, I can't stand people. I just started going off.
That kind of communication is so good.
I was like, I'm glad you noticed that, because I've been noticing it, and it makes me so mad every time I see it. There's a big ass sign that says don't park on the curb. We're all standing here in line, having parked in the parking lot, several hundred feet away, and walking over here. Mm-hmm. And this bitch thinks it's okay to just pull up, get out of her car, and she's the special one that doesn't. And I was like, and I try so hard because I go, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. Why am I letting it get me mad? I said all this to him. He's probably like, okay, yeah. Whoa, chill out. But he's like, yeah, I don't get it. So we had this like meeting of the minds of like this fucking asshole. Anyway.
Oh, I had something similar. Yesterday, because I was dropping my daughter off at the bus, and the sign was still up. Here, somebody's just driving down, not paying attention, going to just drive by a parked bus with the sign up, and I'm standing in the middle of the road.
That's awesome.
And okay, I guess I've been so pissed off recently that I didn't even run. I just let the car keep coming towards me while I slowly meandered across the street staring at them. And then as I walked, and I
right
just
in the eyes.
And as I walked by, I was like, "You're supposed to stop!" I said in the most shrill voice I could.
And then blow him a kiss.
Oh man,
You gotta blow him a kiss afterwards.
I should have.
Yeah, we actually had that discussion yesterday morning at the bus stop because, okay, we're at a T intersection, right? We're at the end of the T, right? So the bus is coming from the right side of the T. We're in the stem of the T.
Okay.
And then every day a bus comes down. One of the guys that lives by me owns a business, a HVAC business. So his like 4 or 5 guys that work for him every day come driving down the street in the big trucks. So a lot of times one of them will get there when the bus is there. So the bus is there with its stop sign out on the right side of the T. The bus comes down our street up the stem of the T and then makes the left in front of the bus. And every day, yesterday, we're like looking, we're like, aren't they not supposed to make that left-hand turn when the bus has the stop sign out? And I was like, no, nobody's supposed to go anywhere when the stop sign's out in the bus. You're not supposed to turn in front of the bus. You're not supposed to go past the bus. And they do it every day. It's fucking annoying. Thankfully, we're smart enough to keep our kids like over on the side of the road in the curb and not anywhere near. But it's like so fucking annoying, the people that don't obey the bus laws. I've seen people blow past the bus when we've been waiting. I've seen people just completely avoid the stop sign. I've seen people go around the bus after they put the stop sign down. It's like fucking assholes, man.
No,
like,
I hear you.
Ugh, so irritating.
I remember earlier this year I passed a bus and it was an accident. It was okay. So I panicked, to be honest with you, because the bus was slowing down, but the stop sign wasn't up yet, and I had to get home before the bus for my kids got there.
So you weren't sure
and I was like, should I stop? Should I keep going? Should I stop? Should I keep going? So I kept going, and because I was close, I was really close. But the sign started lifting right as the sign wasn't out. So my nose got to the nose of the bus. So I was still going not full speed, but cruising as it was coming up. And I made the mistake. It was all slow motion in my head. Looked up at the bus driver and she's looking down at me like with disdain. What the fuck is wrong with you, dick? And I'm look, sorry.
There are 2 sides of this, all right? First off, generally, they put on their yellow flashers before the stop sign comes out, so you probably should have known it was going to stop shortly. And
yeah, absolutely.
Stopped. But technically, the sign wasn't out yet, so I think you're good. I think you're okay. And to be fair, they put the flashers on like when they stop at railroad tracks and shit, so it's not always an indication that they're going to stop.
And it seemed like the middle of nowhere. I didn't see any houses, but then again, there's a lot of trees, and I don't care.
If you were going past before the stop sign was out, you're fine. Fuck that.
But
Fuck that bus driver.
No. Because I get it. I do get it because it's the same indignity I get when I see people do stuff like that.
Yeah, but yours was like a harmless, didn't mean to. That wasn't an intentional, I'm an asshole.
I don't know if they're doing that either. The guy I yelled at yesterday, I don't know if that was the case.
No,
he probably wasn't paying attention.
Well, then he's an asshole if he wasn't paying attention. That's a different story. You were paying attention. You just made like a split second choice. You ran a yellow light, basically.
Hey, my wife got a ticket for running a yellow light. So,
but that's not. Wait, what? That's not a thing.
Yeah. She was talking. Was it on speakerphone? I think it was on speakerphone. Either that or I had just gotten off the phone with my wife. It was around 3 a.m.
Wait.
My wife went through a yellow because I was in Afghanistan at the time.
But did the cops say that she ran a red light?
No, they said that she ran a yellow, so they gave her a failure to obey traffic.
Wait, no, that's not yellow's okay.
Yeah, that's so they harassed her about it because they thought she was coming from a bar and drunk. They did all the sobriety tests and stuff like that. She passed them all because she didn't drink.
So they just wanted to give her something,
and they gave her failure to obey traffic signal.
My daughter and I were having a discussion about police stops like literally 2 days ago on the way home from school. For whatever reason, she was asking about if I've ever been pulled over, and I was explaining to her the times I've been pulled over. And I did I got a ticket for not stopping at a stop sign once, but I did stop at the fucking stop sign. The cop was just mad that I stopped and then pulled out in front of him, and he was going like 60 and a 30 and had to slow down. Well, because I saw him in the distance and figured I had plenty of time to make a turn, didn't realize he was actually doing 60. So he had to slow down when he got caught up to me, and was mad I, quote, cut him off, even though he was speeding, because he's a cop and he's allowed to speed wherever the fuck he wants. And I explained to her. She was like, "So are some cops like jerks?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's just like
Yes.
any other group of human
Yeah.
beings. Yeah, some of them are jerks and some of them aren't. This one was a jerk."
You
And then
give
I
authority
got
to
pulled over.
somebody who has the propensity to be
They're-
an a-hole. They're going to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And I got pulled over once. I got pulled over once because they thought I was drunk, and they I might have told you this already, or I don't think I told on the podcast. And he pulled me over and was like, "Have you been drinking?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "What's that can? Your console?" And I picked it up and went, "Dr. Pepper."
It's like,
I think he must have saw me drinking the can at night and just
Yeah.
thought it was a beer can. And
Did
then one
I?
time I got pulled over because I was driving. I was much younger. I was probably 19 or 20. I was driving my brother's girlfriend home, and we got pulled over. And the cop just kept asking her if everything was okay, and if she was like thought she was like being kidnapped or was going to be.
I'm sure
raped or
I told you
something.
that story too.
And she was an asshole. She was just like,
Yeah.
"Yes, it's my fucking boyfriend and his brother.
Oh
what
no,
are you
no, I didn't
doing?"
have that problem.
Oh, she was like yelling at the cop, and I was like, "Fucking chill out! Stop yelling at him, Jesus!"
I feel so much closer to you now that you have an exact similar story with like that cop situation. I don't know if I
Yeah.
told it on the podcast where I got
You-
stopped by a cop at a park. I might
You
have. So I'm not going to
Continue.
tell the whole story, but I am going to tell and I don't know if I told this one, how a can of Arizona tea almost got me arrested.
No, I don't think so.
In New York City, I was with a friend of mine who
But I think it was a 40.
yeah, he hates cops. Like openly just hates cops. And we both go to
There's-
college together.
That's a thing. There's definitely a
yeah.
considerable group.
And you know, he's from the city. I wasn't from the city. So him and I were walking through Queens, and I bought an Arizona because they were 99 cents at the time.
Right. Oh, you remember when they were
And,
99 cents?
with for the giant can.
No tax. You just needed a single.
Yep. And I was drinking my Arizona tea, not even in a bag or anything. And
Right.
my buddy, he hits me with his elbow, and we look over, and the cops are like trailing behind us slowly. We're walking.
In the city?
Yeah, and they're driving slowly behind us, and then he's like, "They're gonna
Manhattan?
flash us." In Queens.
Queens. Okay.
And he said they're gonna flash us, and that's exactly what they did. As soon as they stopped, mind you, we're both black dudes.
Yeah.
And
When
he
was
goes,
this?
This was in 2007.
Yeah. So right around that time period when that was a big
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely
Stop and frisk was
2007.
going on.
So yeah, he. I was like, oh god. So I had no problem. I put on like this super I put on my like operator hello, how you doing? How may I help you? Like I do.
Hey,
like
your white guy voice.
Yeah. Like, sorry,
Hey, how
sorry
are
to
you,
bother
I'm a
you,
nerdy
voice.
White guy. I don't know. I'm sorry.
And my friend put in more bass in his voice. It was,
He was
what do
like,
y'all want? He went, what do y'all want? And I went, oh no. And he's cussing. I'm like, shh, just stop. He's like, we just want to know what you guys are drinking. I went,
Fucking Arizona, look at the can.
as he's ranting, which I'm like, you're gonna get us killed. I don't need to be. I'm an art student. I already have a bad life right now. Don't do this to me. And I looked up and said, Arizona tea. The cops didn't even give like a sorry that they like for fighting, because I guess my friend pissed them
Of course
off.
they didn't.
But they didn't even get out of their car to like. And then they just like they turned on their lights. They turned the lights back on, like they turned it off to talk to us,
Right.
and they took off. And
I'm
mind
pretty
you,
sure
it was a
that in
crowded
their training
area.
they tell them never apologize. They're like never ever
And-
ever apologize. Because the same thing, like I got pulled over. Like, he didn't apologize for pulling me over,
Yeah,
or for
just-
like making me do a fucking sobriety test when I have a Dr. Pepper can. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't like, yeah, I'm sorry, just doing
sorry
my
for
job.
wasting your time. Like,
If you just, hey, sorry for wasting your time, just doing my job, I would have been like, okay. But instead, no, he pulls away with me going, what a fucking dick.
yeah,
That's the impression I'm left with.
you know what? There was even a
Um,
cop who did apologize to me, who I think was a dick.
Maybe
Because I didn't know that
was
the-
he doing it to be facetious? He's like, well,
no,
sorry.
no, the road went from like 60 to 30 to 60 again, and I didn't know that, and so I I didn't slow down, so the cop stopped me, and I told him I had just gotten out of the army, so I had just mentioned it because I don't have. He went, why didn't he was like, you have an ID for that? Why didn't you say so? Sorry for wasting your time. Have a good day.
Oh my god.
Oh, have a good night because it was night. I was driving home from work.
That's good. At least you did that.
But I was like, no, that's fucked. Like,
I mean, it is. But have you ever seen that video that was like, it was like maybe a year ago that went around of that? He was like a sergeant or a lieutenant in the army, and they pulled him over. Black guy. They pulled him over, and like they got him out, and he's like, I literally just came from base. And they ended up pepper spraying him and shit. Did you see that video?
Jeez. I have not.
So
I actually make it a point to not watch
video.
those videos anymore. I can't.
No,
I don't have enough anger or empathy in me. Both.
But that's one of those videos you watch and you're like, this is why people like get so mad.
Yeah. I because what I end up doing is I end up stupidly going to the comment section afterwards. Because I just can't help it. Because I tend to want to believe that some people have a level of empathy, or sense, and nobody does. And and it's always the people that try to weaponize like nuance, because I preach nuance and context, but sometimes the video shows that even if the person resisted arrest or whatever, what does that resistance looks like? Does that level of resistance meet the level of response that was given?
Is that resistance
getting shot
being like, dude, why?
For talking shit? Yeah, it's like somebody talking shit, even just talking shit, getting shot, or somebody going, he is retarded, and then that person getting like the mentally handicapped guy who got shot, or was it the caretaker that got shot? One of them got shot. He had a toy train in his hand. It was literally a toy train, and he was not understanding what the cops were saying. There was a white guy. His son is mentally handicapped, but he's like 30, and the cops beat this man in his own yard because somebody called the cops saying they saw an older man staring in. First of all, if you're a neighbor, you should know who that is.
You would think so. Yeah.
At least by passively.
Yeah, you would think
But then the cops came in hot. No reason. And I still think SWAT is BS, but SWAT killing the one dude in the hotel room who was drunk, crawling on the floor. He was crawling when you shot him.
There's countless examples of just overly aggressive responses to situations. The whole like, and the punishment should fit the crime. There's any of those situations. There's countless number of them where the response just not fit the initial,
not at all,
provocation that happens. So,
but we get the response. Hey, well, they're people. Cops are people too. Well, yeah, and I don't trust people.
I got a question for you. On new topic.
Yeah,
you know that fragrance manufacturing company that's not too far from us. It's over by the old hospital, the old Horton Hospital.
I know the area. Oh wait, yes, I do know that place. It's new? Because I remember there was a place there for a year. Okay,
no,
it was there for years.
There for years. My father worked there actually when I was very little.
I used to pretend it was Access Chemicals as a kid because I used to live in that neighborhood.
Well, I think it like has new ownership as of like I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago, but it's been open. But like oftentimes you'll drive in that area and you smell like fabric softener scent or like some perfume scent
or something extremely fruity.
Yes. I drove by there the other day and I swear to God, the smell was dog food, like wet dog food. That was the smell. And it got me thinking, do they manufacture a smell for wet dog food? Like, do they have an artificial smell they give it?
A specific smell.
So it always smells that way? Like, and that makes me
offensive.
Think, but it is offensive. So that makes me think, what does it actually
smell like? Is dog food offensive?
Like?
That smell never bothered me.
It's not a good smell. Okay, maybe it's not
like it's not a good smell, but it's not an offensive smell.
But that's what made me think. I'm like, wait a minute. If they're manufacturing the smell they make to put in dog food, what does the dog food smell like before they make it smell like that? Because it's already bad.
Think about it. It's probably the quality of meat and stuff they use in it. It's probably not the best, so it probably smells like old bad meat. But also,
dog food artificially scented.
I don't put it past companies to to make it where they're trying to alter the way dog poop smells. So that could be a call point for...
Here we go. Most pet foods have a strong odor because the raw materials used to make that food are of poor quality and flavors, and other chemical substances are used to mask the real bad odor so the pet owner doesn't perceive
I
it.
called it like Ghostbusters.
That's so awful. So why don't they make it smell like, I don't know, like roast chicken or something? Why do they give it that bad dog food smell?
Because whatever chemicals they're using is probably really easy and cheap to make.
So they could make it smell a little better? So you don't open it and go, ugh.
This is why you're not rich.
I just don't get it. Why are you adding a bad scent to cover up another bad scent?
Again, it's a non-offensive smell.
Non-offensive...
Because
but why not make it smell decent, or at least somewhat
dogs
appetizing?
Dogs don't care, and as long as it doesn't make you sick, as long as it doesn't make you sick.
Have you met some pet owners that are like they only want the best for their baby? So you can open it.
Yeah, but they cook for their dogs. They cook chicken and rice for their dogs.
All right, maybe you're right. Or they use one of those services that send you like homemade dog meals.
Yeah, like let's not split hairs.
How much money
People
do you
who
have
are
to
like
have?
that have the money to do that.
How much money do you have to order fucking homemade meals for your dog?
Like, there's people. I realize the more money you have, the more you treat your pet like a baby.
It's amazing
where like
to me, though.
The less money you have, if you're a decent person, that's like you treat your pet like an actual family member. You get what I put in your bowl. We don't get to just throw out food.
Dude, I love the fact that I drove by that chemical plant, smelled a bad dog food smell, and now know that dog food is artificially scented to smell that way. It's so bad.
I never thought of that, but the sheer fact that it doesn't make sense to me.
But it's funny because it made me think, oh my God, how bad does it actually smell? That's the better smell they make it have. And
now imagine that's the answer. Your human food.
It really does smell that bad.
If they scent your human food.
Maybe they do. I don't know. Who knows? Did I tell you I got a Flipper Zero?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, a Flipper Zero is a rudimentary hacking tool, right? So it's got built in an infrared sensor, like a sub-gigahertz sensor, Bluetooth, all these different types of sensors, radio frequency sensor, all these different things, so that you can use it to fuck with stuff. Like you can use it to like copy a hotel NFC card, like the key card they give you.
You probably don't want to admit on a podcast.
Well, no, it's legal to own. That's why I bought it because I'm pretty sure that they just made them illegal in Canada, and I'm pretty sure they're going to make them illegal in the United States. And if you ask any real hacker, they're like, "Oh, whatever. That's just a bullshit tool that you can use."
It's like a gimmick tool.
It's for script kiddies, so that they can just play around with other people's stuff.
Hey, that's a term I actually know.
I know. I told my wife that the other night, and I had to explain to her what the term script kiddies meant and the origin of it. And I was like, I used to call people script kiddies, and now I'm using a fucking device that people think I'm a script kiddie. But you can use it to like copy hotel key. You could technically copy credit cards with it. You could copy like garage door openers or mimic those. You can use it to turn on and off like TVs, like with the infrared sensor. But the one I just got it because I thought it'd be fun to fuck around with. But I downloaded a batch of files for it, and the one I wanted to use was in a bunch of convenience and department stores like Lowe's, CVS, and Walgreens is my example. I guess they use these sub-gigahertz frequencies to alert their customer service system. So like when you hear like bing, customer service needed in the dental department. Yeah. So they have a bunch of scripts on the Flipper where you can go in and activate them to turn on that system. So I went into Walgreens the other day just to fuck with it. No, but listen, just to try it. I was just like, I just want to try it. And I hit the button and I'm all excited. And it says on the screen, this frequency is region locked in your area. So I wasn't so apparently Flipper that puts it out still has on their firmware locks for certain things, so you can't use it in certain ways. And I was I was so mad. I was so irrationally mad.
Oh, you couldn't be a nuisance?
That I couldn't make the fucking thing go ding, customer assistance needed in the cosmetics aisle. Apparently there's custom firmware you can flash to get around those things.
People like you are the reason why.
Oh, come on. It's fucking harmless.
Retail workers need therapists.
It's harmless. Okay, first off, you think somebody would have actually showed up anyway? You think anybody in that store was like...
No, it's Walgreens. Of course not. There's
nobody
not
in that store
employees.
was like, I'm going to go over and check out the cosmetic aisle to see if somebody needs help. They don't give a fuck. You're right. They're too busy. They got their own shit they're doing. But I was just very disappointed that I bought this device that could do these fun little bullshit things and fuck with people and fuck with things, and it didn't fucking work. So now I'm gonna have to try to flash custom firmware and see if I can make it work.
Try to walk around, act like you're what's his name from what's that game called? Watch Dogs.
Oh yeah, Watch Dogs. Yeah. I mean, it's just a silly little fun toy, like, you know. Anyway, I was just very irrationally. I was. I mean,
I can see that being fun, but you know,
it's not like I was gonna go in there and spam it to be a pain in the ass. I just wanted to be like, oh, it worked. He he. That was funny. Like, that's it.
You're such a child.
I know, I was so irrationally mad about it too. That's what made me even more angry. I'm like, why am I so mad about this? This is so stupid. That just didn't work. Whatever. I you know what? Leave me alone, okay? I was upset about it. It made me angry. Do we want to talk about this our DMCA takedown quick? Should we?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
Please.
All right, guys. Here's the deal, right? We have a TeePublic store. It's got some shirts in it. We were talking, I think, on the last podcast about dead naming Twitter and how it's funny, you know, because we're going to call it Twitter, even though it's X now. And we thought it was funny to dead name it because, you know, Elon,
the owner, does not give a shit.
Doesn't seem to care about dead naming at all.
Yeah.
So we put up two T-shirts that said that were a design that said I dead named Twitter, right? Within, I'd say, a day and a half, I got an email, and I'm going to post this email on Twitter. I'm going to take a screen. You know what? I'm going to do this live on the podcast too.
Oh my God, he's going to do it.
I'm going to do this tweet live on the podcast. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this DMCA takedown.
Probably should screen share before you do it, so you can make it a clip or something.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Well, then we'll do that. Okay. Good call. All right. So I'm going to screen share. Let's see how I do this. I'm fucking incapable of figuring out how to do anything. All right, here it is.
You're a tech guy.
All right, let me know if you can see that.
Ooh, look at that.
All right. So we received this TeePublic DMCA takedown notice that says, we're sorry to inform you that an intellectual property claim has been filed by Twitter against this design of yours on TeePublic. And basically it says, you know, there's nothing they could do. It's a DMCA takedown notice in accordance with the intellectual property policy. They're required to remove the design when they get a takedown request. So we received this email from these motherfuckers at Twitter, which is supposed to be the free speech app, right? It's supposed to be the free speech app. And they took down our t-shirt. What the fuck? Right?
Yeah.
Mr.
When
Free
Matt
Speech
sent this to me, I thought it was a TOS takedown. I didn't read the whole thing. I just went, oh, that they took it down. I didn't even pay attention to DMCA.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, it was TOS. Oh, it was so sweet when he clarified that, no, it's a DMCA.
Yeah, it's a DMCA. So Mr. Free Speech app put down a takedown notice on our parody meme t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe should be covered under parody laws. Which should be totally cool to do.
And as Matt researched, and it's very true, there are several Twitter shirts.
Right.
Not made by Twitter.
So let's go look at TeePublic, right? So let's share a new tab here. So we're gonna share the TeePublic tab, share. Okay. So if you go to TeePublic's website, you search for Twitter, right? You're gonna see Twitter, you know,
all
Twitter
different
logo,
creators,
X logo, verified logo, lots of usage of their logo, lots of usage of the name. So that tells us that they specifically target our shirt for saying that we dead name Twitter, right? That is some fucking bullshit. So here's what we're gonna do now, okay? We're gonna go and we're gonna share one more tab. We're gonna go to Twitter, okay? And we're going to post now.
Look.
So we're going to do at Elon. And we're going to do at Twitter, at X, Hey, Mr. Free Speech, with your free speech app, what's the deal with issuing a takedown or DMCA
yeah.
takedown request on our parody Twitter shirt on TeePublic? I thought you were all about free speech, man. Is it because Joaquin
You know what?
is
You know
black?
what? No. Oh, don't do that. I will.
Why
destroy
not? Oh, okay,
because
fine.
you didn't name yourself. Back that up to free speech, man.
Okay, fine. I was just trying to fuck
That's
with you.
literally like roll your friend under the bus nonsense.
I was just trying to fuck with you.
Like, he will create a Twitter for me with all my information on it.
Okay, so let me see. I thought I took a screenshot of this already. Maybe I didn't. Let me do this. I'm going to take a quick screenshot here and crop it down so I can attach this picture. All right. Crop. Done. Save image. Okay. So let's attach our picture of the DMCA takedown, and can we attach two pictures? And let's attach a picture of the design.
You might be able to.
Let's attach a picture of the design here. This is making great content for you folks that are listening to this podcast. I'm sure you're having a good time listening to what we're talking about. We're doing on a screen.
Well, this is a personal grievance, and it's generated in hate, so I have no problem with this.
So there's both. All right.
And, you can fast forward. That works, too.
Post away. There we go. It's posted. All right. So, yeah, that's some bullshit. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it. That's all I want to say. That is bullshit. And we'll see what happens. And I encourage any of you to go to our Twitter account, which is at ATIWIHY, and repost that post that doesn't seem to be showing up.
Create some chaos. I mean, Twitter's already chaos, but let's just add to it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a response from Mr. Musk and then get people to listen to our podcast. More people. Not that we don't appreciate you guys that do listen to the podcast, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Such garbage.
I just want the chaos.
I want the chaos too, but it's just I thought it was. We both thought it
was hilarious. It was BS. No, it was absolutely BS, but it made me happy. Like, I am not actually upset about it. I think it's kind of cute, and it shows like where the values lie. I'm
not upset about it either. I'm kind of happy it happened because it's funny. It's just good irony.
I saw a post on Instagram where somebody said if they make a movie about Elon Musk, they want Kathy Bates to play him. Yes,
that's such good casting. Oh man, that's perfect. Oh, that's so good. Oh, whoever says that is a genius.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was that. And also I talked about my flipper. I also had gotten a new 3D printer, and I got a new 3D printer. I printed a couple things, and then it just massively clogged on me on like my fourth print.
Wow.
I returned it, got a new one, ran it last night, printed one thing with no problem, and then the second or third thing I printed massively clogged again. So for those of you listening, the Ender 3
really bad model.
Yeah, the Ender 3 version 3 KE is a piece of shit. It's a piece of fucking garbage. Don't buy it. The Ender 2 version 2 is like well known as one of the best entry level printers, and I had it. It worked beautifully for like a year. I had it. This one is a piece of shit. Same fucking problem 2 times in a row. Don't buy it.
And there's no way to unclog it or anything.
I could like literally take the hot end off. Have to try to heat up the plastic that's in around the other parts and try to melt it off, or replace all those parts too, and then pay $30 plus the $30 just for the hot end, and then maybe more for the whole heat sink part.
Yeah,
that I just bought it though. I'm just sending it back.
No, you shouldn't have had that problem to begin with.
Yeah, no,
at least after what, like 1 or 2 prints.
My brother said that too. He's like, "Well, can you replace it?" I was like, "I'm not fucking spending the money and time to replace it."
No, I was just wondering if like you could like, I just take this piece off and clean it myself with like a Q-tip.
Well, if I had it for a year,
I don't know anything about 3D printers except for the fact that they seem like magic.
They're amazing. But if I had it for a year and it had a clog, fine. Like I'll take it apart, I'll clean it, or I'll replace the part. I had to do that with my
Yeah.
old printer several times. That's fine. But I just got it. It's printed 2 or 3 prints, and then it gets a massive. I'm not talking a little clog. I mean, it was so clogged it was like spilling out of the top of the hot end and over the
Oh,
sides,
wow.
like to the point where
should
I
not
didn't
have
even
happened.
realize it was plastic. I thought it was part of the hot end, and then I was like, "Oh, this is filament that just leaked out of the top of this." And I looked
Yeah, that's
online, and
insane.
other people had the same problem. So fuck it, I'm getting a different one. I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to buy another kind of entry level one, or just go ahead and buy like a really good shop one that people use professionally,
Yeah.
because they're like probably 2 or 3 times as expensive. But I feel like if I don't have the issues, maybe it's worth it. Anyway, I just wanted to point out how mad I was about that, and that you should not buy it if you're into 3D printing. I guess, I mean, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Just actually, so I accidentally reactivated my Facebook because I like playing games on
You
my phone.
did.
And
Am
I
I
like
still
playing
friends with
games.
you?
I don't know if we were friends on Facebook,
We were,
but
I think.
I'm getting ready to deactivate it. But my dad had added me to a whole bunch of groups.
How long had you had it deactivated for?
I had it deactivated for like three or 4 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
It was a really long time.
There you
so
are.
I was just,
yeah, we're still friends.
Yep. All right, good. Yep, that is me.
Yeah, we're still
So
we were still friends. You just disappeared.
So I know the exact moment I deactivated, and it was really shortly after people started burning their Nikes.
Your last post was in 2018.
Oh man, that was 6 years.
Yeah,
20
I don't know
yeah,
if, I don't know if
6
you just didn't post anything for a while, but that's the last post you had.
No, that was 6 years. Did the
Wow.
did the Nikes, that was around the Nike sneaker burnings.
I don't remember exactly when that was.
But that's when I deactivated it, because I started noticing my friends becoming brainlets and not like, and then trying to like bring political arguments to me that I wasn't making.
Right. No, I get it.
And you know, the whole Trump is the devil, Trump Hillary thing, where all my friends are now like enemies, like mortal enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
it
we've
was
been
good
friends
time.
for years, and now we all hate each other. Like, what's happening?
Really good point in history, for sure.
Yeah. So regardless, so my dad added me to all these groups, and they're all Batman related.
Oh, okay. So that's cool.
My dad and I bonded over Batman. That
Right,
was our big bonding thing.
We've talked about this. That was your thing.
So somebody who I think is a troll, quite literally, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's a diatribe, but they say Batfleck is literally a furry Punisher, and Battinson is an emo loser who hasn't figured out how to do anything at all with the people that keep justifying all his errors. But he's only in his second year. And like, he's just starting a fight in a Batman group, and then he posts a picture of Christian Bale Batman. And the reason why I think is a troll, one, because he posted Christian Bale Batman, but two, because it's like him looking constipated.
Right.
Like, this is just for Matt, so he gets the idea of what I'm saying. But it's Christian Bale Batman.
People can see it on the video too. Yeah, he definitely looks very constipated.
And I'm just like, whoa. Okay, so
speaking of, if you are listening to this podcast, hopefully starting with this podcast, maybe the last podcast too, depending on whether or not I can get it done properly, you should be able to go to our YouTube channel and actually watch the live video of our podcast from now on.
I should really stop picking my nose then.
I know. I was thinking about it too when we were talking about it. I was like, did I do anything in these videos that that I wouldn't want people seeing me do? Like, was I grab my balls or anything? You can't see below my waist, so I could be touching myself this whole time.
There's a lot of these videos where I'm eating.
Yeah, like, who cares about that? Like, that's fine.
I do. I try to eat quietly.
It doesn't matter, but we'll see.
But yeah,
I think this may be the first one, because to be honest with you, the last one, I know at some point your son walked into the room, and I can't remember when it was, and I still haven't gone through the whole
you have
hour
to like comb through the whole
to
thing,
find it.
Yeah.
I thought I could find it in the transcript, and I still couldn't find it. So it's ready to post. I just have to fix that part. So maybe I'll try to do that tonight, but we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Well,
Constipated Batman.
he or she, whoever it is, I think it's a guy, because it doesn't. Angel. Okay, so it's a male. After saying that, a just army of fanboys losing their shit at each other and all saying the same thing, which I thought I was starting to think it was like a virus because they're all just like Christian Bale's voice, Mr. Gravelly voice, Mr. Tinda Smoker voice. So his voice is like, you have other things you can complain about with this character. Is it only his voice is bothering you? Like they're all just flipping out. And I'm glad that I've at least gotten to a point in my fanboydom where I don't get angry when people do this.
Well, I mean, like,
where I just think they're silly.
Why get mad about something like that?
I still feel it because I feel like the person who's talking about it is talking about something they don't understand.
Okay.
And usually people who do things like that aren't going to listen to you.
Do. Sorry.
They're not going to listen to you when you go to explain it. They're just going to dismiss you and make fun of you. So it's kind of like a preemptive pissed offness.
It's fair.
But yeah, it's just like it irks the inner fanboy, and I just watched that happen this morning. And I mean, I have a really long string that I screenshot because I'm probably going to write a video essay and put it on YouTube.
On our channel?
In the future about this.
On our channel?
Maybe.
Yeah, put it on our channel.
I mean, because I have to talk about Batman. I'm getting tired of people repeating the same garbage about him.
You should put it on our channel. I've actually been thinking lately that we should expand our content a little bit too. Maybe start doing like those stupid reaction videos because I feel like we would have a lot of dumb shit to say about some of the videos.
Especially some of the horror movies we've seen.
Yeah.
The one I showed you.
Like, oh, you mean like Mystery Science Theater wise?
Very similar. That's usually the best style of react video because just reacting is kind of garbage.
Well, like, no, I don't mean yes, I don't mean the react videos like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. I mean, like like Mystery Science Theater style where we just make fun of something, but it could just be like an internet video too. Like, you know, people put out those stupid like 5-minute hack videos. You know, just watch those and be like, this is fucking dumb. That wouldn't, you know.
Yeah,
I think we should start doing content like that.
That'll be fun. No, that'll absolutely be fun. We've been doing it long enough, and we know that we like going back and forth. So
yes, I think that would be a good thing for us to watch and bullshit about. So yeah, no, I think that you should put it on our channel. So if you do that, definitely. Right, guys, I guess it's time to get into our topic, right?
It's time to begin the complaining.
Get out of here, Mike!
Nigga, move.
Go Oh, it's fucking funny. I'm posting that as a clip. Our topic today, as we previously stated, and yet no one has sent us any messages. You know what my favorite part is?
What?
I post on social media and people will like the post or heart the post, but then not send a message.
You know what? To be honest, I'd be that person too.
I actually posted it on my I shared it on my personal page. It was like, hey everybody, we, even if you don't listen to the podcast, here's what we're going to talk about. If you could send me an email
For
or
a
a message,
story
that
or
would be
something.
awesome. I got a bunch of people that liked it and stuff. Nobody did.
You know what? If I come across it, I'll start. I mean, I only have Instagram, and I don't know, but I'll start sharing it on mine.
Oh shit! I
Actually,
forgot.
there
to put
is
my mic down.
a contest going on, so I had to unprivate my Instagram. Yes, my Instagram is private because I don't care to make a lot of friends. But I will share it.
You know, wait, I'm laughing. I forgot my train of thought already. I'm still laughing about whatever I had in my head, and yet I can't remember what it was. You know what I'm gonna start doing?
What?
I'm just gonna start asking ChatGPT to generate emails for us.
Again, you know what? At this point, put as much effort as you get out, as you get back. So, I mean, look,
All
it's
right,
not a participation thing, but it would just be nice.
No, absolutely not. We're not here for. We're just here to make content that hopefully you are enjoying. Our topic today is fanboys. So last week we picked on the girls and we did woo girls, which again there can be woo boys. They're called chads, and there could be fan girls as well. But people say fanboy, so that's what the topic is.
I mean, woo boys exist, so yeah.
Yeah, woo boys absolutely exist, and fangirls absolutely exist. So fanboys, anybody who's like the brainless pawn of a major brand or
anything,
or
just like they pledge their full allegiance.
Undying allegiance with nothing can change their mind. That's what we're here to talk about
Star
today.
Wars.
So, oh my dude, Star Wars, Marvel. The list goes on and on. On. Sports, music, anything goes on and on. The people that like Kanye, goes off and turns into a maniac, and says like the worst shit in the world.
Nobody's
there's
common
people
sense.
There's people that are still like Kanye fanboys, and like doesn't matter that he said all that.
Well, he made graduation though.
So like we don't get it, I guess is what we're saying, and yet I'm partially guilty of this because I have been a Google fanboy for the better part of 20 years. I mean,
you were indoctrinated.
Jesus Christ, I can't even tell you how long I've been a Google. You know what? When it started, my Google fanboydom started back when I started learning Google Ads, and I mean, it was when digital marketing firms were in their infancy, and I worked for Dow Jones, and Dow Jones decided to start a digital marketing firm because they smartly were like, hey, we've got all these newspaper advertisers. Why don't we try to sell them digital marketing products as well? So we started that, right? And I learned Google Ads, and I went to a bunch of seminars. Like I had to go down to the city and stay overnight for a training seminar. I had to go up to Boston and stay for like a week for a training seminar to learn all about Google AdWords, Google Analytics. And I started to be like, oh, this stuff's really cool. And I kind of got into it, and I was starting to enjoy the Google brand. But then I took it a step further because they started sending us shit. Like all of a sudden, I remember one year I got a pumpkin carving kit from Google. It was a little knife with a Google logo.
Like little goodies?
Yeah, all kinds of tchotchkes. And I got a little like wooden balsa wood, assemble it yourself plane that was all Google branded. So I started getting all little Google goodies, and I started getting excited. And I was like, ooh, I like all this free shit. And then I started liking Google more and more. And then I signed up for Google Fi, and they started sending gifts. I remember one year, their most famous one, they sent a bag of Legos, and you could assemble them into a phone stand. And I just started they started reeling me in with all of their like little tchotchke giveaways that they would just send and be like, we're so appreciative of you as a Google user, as a Google customer, as a Google fan. And then it hit its precipice when they launched the Pixel Superfans group. So Google about 2, maybe 3 years ago now, they started an exclusive Superfans group for Pixel users. So Pixel's Google's phone brand, And I've been using Google's phones since the days when they were Nexus phones. So originally Google put out Nexus phones that were essentially just for
wow, I forgot about
hardcore.
the Nexus.
Yeah, they were like hardcore Android users to get the core Google Android system and get recent, quick updates. But they were really just for super fanboys of Google Android.
Yep.
But then they went mainstream with Pixel, and then they came up with this group of Pixel fanboys, super fans they call them, but it's Pixel fanboys, and it was really small. It was only like a couple thousand people in the group. And we all were like super happy and felt like really special that we were in this group. And they started giving a bunch of shit away. I literally won a Pixel 5 phone when they started it. They had like a trivia contest. They sent me a Pixel 5 phone. They sent me a Nest Audio, which was their more expensive, like $200 one, for free. They sent me Google Nest Minis for free. They sent me a Google Wi-Fi router for free. And it was
they really were like,
yes,
that kind of boyfriend that is just like,
yes, dude. That's when the super fandom took the leap into fanboy.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was willing to do anything for Google. I had their shitty Google Fi cell service.
I remember when we first started hanging out, how I mentioned when our friends were trying to like hook us up.
Yeah.
And you asked me what phone I had.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. And you had a Pixel.
And I had a Pixel at the time, and you got super excited about it. And I wasn't as
I had never met another
I was like,
Pixel.
I think I'm done with the Pixel.
I had never met another Pixel user in the wild. I was so excited. I was like,
I think I started trashing the Pixel because I was having I got ghost pixels on the screen. I liked the phone, but I just I didn't like certain things about it.
They're still that way, and I still have a Pixel.
Really pushing it, and I didn't pick up on the fact that you were a fanboy until I'm a the next few times we hung out.
So like any good fanboy, eventually, my idol, my girl, my boy turned it around on me, and it became a battered wife type situation, and they just shit on me all the time. And in the Google, I had Google Fi. I put up with it being terrible for so long. I just had constant issues. I had no service for weeks at a time. And I was still like, but Google. And I finally got rid of it and got T-Mobile. I told you, like a month ago. So I got off that, but I do still have a Pixel phone.
Which is fine.
But they opened the Superfans group up, and there's like tens of thousands of people in it now. And it's just... there's so many. I don't know any other way to put it, but they just suck Google's dick in the comments and in the posts.
Yeah.
So it used to be like useful posts. It'd be like, hey, everybody, have you tried this feature that nobody really knew about? Now it's like, hey, have you tried the magic eraser feature they added? Oh, you mean the one that they have fucking Super Bowl commercials about?
Everybody's been using it for years.
Yeah. Thanks for posting that post about the magic eraser and how you discovered this awesome feature that everybody knows about because they fucking had a Super Bowl ad about it. So that's what it's turned into. It's just people sucking their dick. I love Google so much. Oh my God, it was so easy. The other day I had to record a meeting at work, and I used the recorder app, and it was so easy, and it added transcription, and it put the labels on there of everyone who's speaking. And oh my God, Google's so amazing.
So you know that a lot of it still isn't Google necessarily. Like it's probably a standard ability that most Android phones have.
Sure.
It just looks different.
They do try to keep a couple things exclusive for Pixel. Yep. They do it all the time, every year when the new phone comes
out. Which I believe.
I can't, and it's funny, I can't even remember what it was this year that they kept to be their very, very exclusive what do you want to call it? Feature on the new Google 8. I can't remember what it was. There was some really exclusive feature. So that shows you how important it was, right? That I can't even fucking I can't even fucking remember what it was. But yeah, you're right. For the most part, Android phones in general all have these features.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm still an Android fan. I still have an Android phone, and I actually like my Pixel 8. I do. I saw the new Samsung S24 Ultra though, or Plus.
Yeah,
it's such a sexy looking phone. They made it look like an iPhone. I think we talked about this.
No, I've been selling Samsungs for years, and around the time I had an LG, then I had an LG V10, an LG V20, and then I had the Pixel. And after I left Samsung is when I finally got one. And it was only because I like drawing and I wanted the S Pen. And so far, like, I thought about getting the Motorola, but the only reason why I've stuck with Samsung for so long is because of the S Pen. Nothing has picked up the same, or the pen doesn't feel right. Like, again, the Motorola, the pen is so skinny, it's like a toothpick. And so, but I don't feel any like loyalty to it, but I will admit Samsung has been, you know, since the days of the exploding phone, they've been like sleeking it up and making it a little bit easier to deal with.
Well, yeah. Well, the new one looks like an iPhone. It's just so, it's got the flat edges. It's so sexy.
Well, because the proprietary bodies. But we are getting into that. But back to the fan stuff. But fanboys. Actually, this morning, I ran into some Sony fanboys. Like, I literally signed up for this newsletter with my junk with a junk email just so I could yell at someone.
Oh, nice tip. DuckDuckGo, the browser.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the super private browser. They let you like burn, like they don't. Yeah, they let you completely wipe your data and shit. They try to keep trackers off. They have a feature where you can create a like a dummy email address.
Oh, that's
forwards to your email. So that like if you have like those types of things, you can just use the DuckDuckGo email and still receive the emails, but they don't have your real email address.
That's pretty cool. But I signed up with this junk email. Like, I created one just so I could make my comment and leave. I didn't even care about the responses, because Sony, a bunch of games apparently just disappeared out of people's libraries.
Oh, I saw that. That story.
Yeah, and somebody commented on the news article going, yeah, and you seem to think that people think that going full digital is such a good idea, which I agree. And so, and the person who's a Sony fanboy was like, well, you know, you hear people complaining about something that Sony's going to fix anyway down the line and make a patch for, and, you know, it'll be fixed in a while. I went, no, because one, just, you know, physical media doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just up and disappear into smoke.
Unless somebody robs your house.
Unless somebody robs you. But also, Sony has had way too many data breaches since 2014. Since 2014 till now, they've been having constant data breaches or glitches or things happening that are major. How do I know this? Because I am personally a victim of it, because my original,
were you?
My original email, my original Gmail email was attached to my PSN account. I had games on my PS3 and my PSP and my PS4 that I bought. I had over 50 some odd games. I worked really hard, my money into those games that are on there. Some physical, a lot digital. That 50, most of them were digital, like the original Persona, things like that. Persona 2.
See,
actually. Gone.
I'm a total physical media fanboy. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, completely gone. The email account is barred.
Sorry, folks.
Is barred as if it was a fake email account. Every game that I have on my PSP, I can't play because I can't connect it to the PSN network. One, because PSN network doesn't work on the PSP anymore. But two, I can't. I can't fix it.
Explain the issue to me again.
So my account was one of the ones that were breached. Like, I got the email and I went and fixed it with them. And instead of giving me my games back, they wiped everything and barred my email account.
Why would they do that, though? That just doesn't make any sense.
Because during the second data breach that happened, I think a year later, they had mine on queue. They never fixed everything all at once.
Okay, so they just basically banned everything, and then we're going back and trying to fix them one by one.
And I'm one of the many people they did that to. They didn't fix it. They didn't refund me, and now there is no proof that my account even existed on that account.
I would flip the fuck out if that happened to me. I'm sorry that happened to you.
And mind you,
I
couldn't fix it instantly because I was in basic training.
Yeah, well, I mean, not even not even that. I mean, you couldn't have fixed it instantly either way, right? Like you got to wait for them
I
to
couldn't
do
stay
it.
on top of that. Is what I mean. Like I couldn't stay on top of them and ask them every day.
I got you.
Or check up on the ticket or anything like that. I didn't have access to a computer or anything. So I'm just like, I'm sorry. And that was in 2010. That wasn't even 2014. That was 2010. And you mean to tell me that you think they're going to fix it? Dummy, get over yourself. There's literally proof. I looked it up just to double check myself that morning. That's one thing a lot of fanboys never do, is they never double check like their own sources. Not saying that they're wrong about it, but seeing that maybe the other person's interpretation is correct.
So to me, fanboys have two major qualities. One is basically what you're talking about, just unequivocal and unbreakable just glow, or what am I trying to say? Just complete loyalty and defense and devotion of the company no matter what happens. They will defend them till the end. They will be with them till the end. And then the other side is, funny enough, an episode we've already done is gatekeeping. That's another major part of fanboys. Which they get so obsessed that they want to gatekeep the whatever it is they're into.
You mean to tell me you are dedicated to a company? How insane is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is pretty insane when you think about it. I mean, especially a company like Google. Like, what is wrong with me?
So
I'm slowly peeling off the Band-Aid and getting away from being all 100% pro Google.
I got into another,
especially with their Gemini rollout and how terrible that was. Anyway, go ahead.
I got into another one, and I want to ask people's on Star Wars specifically. And this is, I want to hear fanboys, but I don't doubt we'll ever hear from them.
I will follow this up because I just had a conversation at the barbershop about Star Wars and fanboys. So go ahead.
Do you feel, and my son, who loves this character, agrees with me, and not saying much, but as a child, he even understood this without me having to go into a diatribe. Do you think Anakin Skywalker deserved a happy ending? Because he got one.
Yes.
You think he deserved one?
To an extent. I don't think he didn't deserve one. Maybe I should put it that way.
Okay. I feel like he didn't. He deserved a self-sacrifice and it be done. Here's why. If you had something to say before I...
No, I just, it's, there are very frequently stories. It's a very common trope in movies, TV, books, where there's a character that has this arc where they start out innocent, they become the villain, and then they redeem themselves and have a happy ending. That's very common. Very, very,
very common. But here's the thing. They went so far to try to make Darth Vader seem like the biggest badass to ever badass, right? They made him a cocky kid. He was a cocky, kid to teenager.
Shit.
Yeah. He was
a shit.
He was a disobedient teenager, which is fine. He's been a slave though. Because that's the one argument I hear. But then he choked out his wife. I argued with somebody on YouTube, which was a stupid place to argue, because they said he lost his wife. And he did not lose his wife. He choked her to death and then did not care.
Wait. He choked her to death?
Uh-huh. He force choked her. I thought she died. My son has watched this movie so much.
Yeah.
That when him, Obi-Wan, and Padme were outside of the ship on, I guess, Mustafar, which was the lava planet they were fighting on.
Okay.
She was trying to convince him that he was going off the deep end. Mind you, not only maybe a day or hours or however long late before that, he killed a bunch of kids.
Yes, that's the big joke about Anakin all the time. It's a child murderer.
But we're all perfectly fine with forgiving him for that, right? I
think everybody forgets about that part.
She's trying to convince him, and he starts force choking her. Now, mind you, Obi-Wan didn't do anything either. Don't get me wrong there. He stood there and watched him choke her out.
But she dies in childbirth later.
Because she started dying, and then she lost the will to live. But he force choked her
to the point that she died of a broken heart.
To the point that she couldn't get up. logically,
You
he
think
ch-
that's
he
okay? So
choked-
you're making the
I'm
inference
making
that
the
that's
inference-
what's actually killed her.
I'm giving the inference that the combination of a broken heart that her husband choked her with magic, destroyed her life force,
I love your postmortem on this.
destroyed her life force, and she just said, "I'm gonna poop out these kids and be done with it." Because my husband,
Okay,
because
I get
she
it.
started to say, "There's still good in him." And he still choked you out. That's just like saying, "But I can change him," or "He didn't mean to hurt me." That's what it sounded like to me. And then
I guess.
Anakin showed so much concern for his wife, the one that he loved so much that he screamed out in his robot voice that he was upset that he killed. Sidious had it right when he said that in his rage he killed her, because he was so concerned about her. He left her on a melting lava planet to go fight his brother, father.
You know what you sound like?
Who?
A Star Wars fanboy.
Well, you know what? This rage came out of me because I argued with a Star Wars fanboy online.
It sounds like you're a Star Wars fanboy too,
I'm
bud.
not. I don't really like Star Wars at all. My son watches.
Why'd it make you so mad?
Because
then?
my
I'm just
son
fucking
watches.
with you.
Yeah, my son watches it so much that when you watch stuff with your kids, you kind of
Yeah,
I got
Bluey.
into
Have
the
you ever
Wiggles.
watched Bluey?
Yeah, they're playing the game on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
really
I
nice. It's a
forgot.
really nice game, actually.
Oh, I should. Okay, then I'm gonna have to get that for Game Pass.
And it
for
looks like
for
the
mine.
show, which is something I like. Like even the Peppa
Right.
Pig game looks like the show.
I heard it wasn't great.
It's
but
for
if it's-
kids. For the kids, they enjoy it. And there's
All right, then I'm
the
gonna
Paw
get it for
Patrol game that's on Xbox.
Wait, is it multiplayer?
The Paw Patrol game is multiplayer. I don't
No, the
think the Bluey
Bluey.
game is. I don't think it is.
Oh, great! They're not gonna want to take turns.
I'll text
Anyway.
you. I'll text you after this. But
Okay.
anyway, so like and I was just like, this man, and mind you, that's not even talking about all the people he killed after putting on the turtle shell. So he's
Right.
murdered mass amounts of people, but he
Wait,
just
the turtle shell.
his suit, his life support jacket that he
Heroes in a
wears,
half
his
shell.
his walking iron lung that he wears.
I guess you're right. It is like a turtle shell. I don't know. I just went to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right away.
But this man killed a bunch of people and boosted up this villain, which, mind you, that makes his sacrifice even worse that he came back in the prequels, that Palpatine came back in the prequel series, but I'm not even getting into that. I like good storytelling, and that just ruined that. So his self-sacrifice, he still gets to go to Jedi heaven and be one with the Force and whatnot, because
Yeah,
he
that
did
part
not
didn't make
kill
sense
his
to me.
son. So him not killing one person,
Okay, so did you watch the Ahsoka series?
I'm not haven't gotten. My son hasn't started
Oh,
watching it,
okay.
so I haven't watched
So you
it.
haven't even gotten into, because
No,
he's in that
'cause-
too as a Force ghost,
Jesus
and
Christ.
like she meets him in the afterlife at one point. I'm not gonna spoil
What?
everything, but
That's another thing that I'm
Dude, it makes no
I'm gonna
sense.
go into
She-
full
she-
fanboy mode, and I'm not.
she
again,
literally meets him in the afterlife.
Why is young Anakin the Force ghost when he died as an old man?
Yes, that's true. I think many people have made that point, and you're
Have
right.
they?
It's fucking dumb.
See-
I think I've heard that point
See,
before.
my thing is, Star Wars has so much love behind it that ends up becoming ritualistic, where it's like a religion because people grew up watching it. It's like, well, my parents had me watch it when I was a little kid, and it's a part of their life. But Star Wars is very dumb. And it got really lucky. There was like a lot of ambition that worked behind it, but everything added to it just gets more ridiculous. So for
Well, my
every
thing
like
with-
good thing, there's like 5 terrible things that are along with
I
it.
don't know if we both said this, but my thing is like I don't like the Skywalker saga
No,
stuff.
I
I
am
like
done
the
with
world.
I like the world.
like the Star
world
Wars
is the
world.
best part of it.
I like the Star Wars world. I like the environment. I don't like the whole Skywalker shit.
Yep.
Like, give me
It should have ended in
Ahsoka
those
and
first 3 episodes.
Mandalorian.
Yep.
Give me that shit. Like I want
First
to see
6.
those things.
Yeah, and it's just like I was done.
Um,
But yeah, like my son, even he was watching. He was watching it. He was looking at it and going, Anakin did. He's like, Anakin. Did he kill his wife? Did he? I went, yes, he did, son.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But
And
he's
those
not-
other children.
He's not a good guy, but he was Vader now, right? He was Vader. Like, no. People say, well, he was Vader. That's a name. That's literally a name. Sidious has like 3 names.
Yeah.
They,
No,
they,
it's
they
still-
just come
still-
up with different names. That doesn't mean he's a different person.
Well, even in the Obi-Wan series,
Yeah, he tried
he
playing.
fights against Vader, and he's like, Anakin, you don't have to do this, Anakin.
It's
You know,
just
whatever bullshit.
It's just like
So,
it's like me going like robbing a bank and then going, no, that was Phil. That's not
Well,
Joaquin. That was Phil.
the conversation we had in the barbershop, when I got there, he had Rogue One on the TV.
Best movie.
And we started talking
Don't care
about
what
it,
anybody
and
says.
well, there we go. So I was like, I really like this movie, and my barber was like, this is actually my favorite one. And then one of the other ones was like, yeah, I think it's my favorite too. And I was like, it's so funny because all the fanboys that are like big into Star Wars hated this movie and said it was the worst piece of shit because it didn't fit in properly or whatever. To me is the best
Wars.
one.
It was Star Wars. It was a war in the stars.
But it was a great, and you could watch that standalone by itself and enjoy the story. Yeah, and to me, it is my favorite Star Wars.
It's really kind of funny. The people who like Andor, who are liking Andor right now,
right?
It's like Rogue One. Like Andor is doing what Rogue One did. Yes, it has a Jedi.
It's the same character, right?
No.
Forrest Whitaker's character, isn't it?
Oh,
isn't he
you know what?
It?
I don't know. I haven't watched Andor. I just read.
I believe Forrest Whitaker's character is in Andor. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Everybody in Rogue One dies. Spoiler,
right,
I guess.
No, it's not at this point. Yeah. Except his character, Forrest
Whitaker's character, who's
although I think they imply his death, but he didn't.
Yeah, they don't show him die because.
Well, don't they leave him on the planet as it's about to be destroyed or some shit?
It really depends on when Jedi.
Oh, that's true.
Jedi First Order happens because I played the games and I'm playing Survivor right now. Because Forrest Whitaker's character's in First Order.
Okay. Got it.
So I don't keep up with it enough. I just know that the contained story, I know it connects to other stories. That's fine. Make it make sense. But right now, in isolation, Rogue One is a really good movie. And it keeps all the mystical, magical stuff in it, but it's low fantasy. The fact that stormtroopers are scary is a big deal.
It's more a great war drama.
Yes. It's a fantasy war drama, and it's done very well. And you still get that scary Darth Vader intro. That was just
at the very end.
That I think was the best thing to ever have Vader in it for me.
I agree. I'm gonna watch it again. Because every time I go there, he's got something on, and then I leave and watch it every time.
But dealing with like fanboys going la la la. I follow a lot of comic book stuff, and this is not even talking about the comment section, but these are like people who
get too invested.
Who like have shows. There's like comic book fans who. There's like this weird elitism, not just elitism, because we all know it's elitism, but entitlement to the way that it should be when it's like different interpretations. And the problem is when it comes down to, for instance, James Gunn. Canon. Canon. James Gunn and the Zack Snyder thing. Like, I understand that Zack Snyder pumps out garbage. I do understand that.
He's just on Rogan, and I was like, why?
It's very acquired taste to like, style over substance. There's no substance to his thing. But like James Gunn being a fan, but I don't necessarily think he's a fanboy. I actually do trust him in making DC, which is something I grew up with. I love both Marvel and DC, but DC was my favorite between the two.
I think that's important because, like you said, there are these people that there are people who write the stories, right? Mm-hmm. They work for Marvel. They get to decide what actually happens along these storylines. People can say and bitch and moan all they want. It should have gone this way. It should have gone that way. You can say that about any works of fiction. When it comes down to it, this is what it is. So yeah, you want a guy who's in there that's not a fanboy and like, well, I'm going to do the way I think it should be. Yeah. And instead goes, I'm a fan. I'm going to respect the canon that's been created and work within that universe. And if I want to, be creative, I'm going to do it in a tasteful way that respects what came before it.
Well, for instance, with comic books, in respect to comic books, the picture of Bill Skarsgård is Bill, I think it is. Skarsgård, the guy who played Pennywise.
Yeah, it's Bill.
his Crow, like the picture of him as the Crow came out. And,
I didn't see that yet.
And fanboys are complaining. It was like he doesn't look right. He doesn't look like the Crow. Why is he covered in tattoos? It reminds me of the Joker. And why does he look so grungy and gross?
See,
and
the people that say stuff like that, I'm like, then don't watch it. Watch the original movie.
You know what? Not even that. Not even that. Even though
if you
I do
just
feel
want them
that
to
way,
remake the original movie, then if
watch
you're
the original
basically going to
movie.
complain, just watch
I
the
don't
original
complain
movie.
about
if you're gonna
remakes
complain.
anymore because I could just not watch it. But at the same time, I get the being upset about it because you might want to see it updated. You might want to see like somebody else's interpretation, but then it doesn't.
I get
fit
it too, but
your
I'm not going
own
to get
thought
mad
pattern.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get mad. There's certain I hated the new Nightmare on Elm Street, but I love Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. So
right.
Which horror community is actually really good with dealing with that, and I know I've praised them before on this show, but they are just really good with dealing with that. Beyond going, it looks like crap. I'm not gonna watch it. But
no, you're right. You're right. Good call.
But they put the picture up. And I was just like, you do know if you're such a fan, right? Because you're a fan, you love the Crow, that it was a comic book, and the character was grungy and dirty rocker boy. Like that's.
Oh, I didn't know it was a comic book first. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was dirty, grungy rocker boy, and I think the original treatment was that he wasn't even supernatural. He was just hopped up on meth.
So you got people complaining about a character that they saw portrayed differently than the original character that they don't even know exists.
Exactly.
That's a fanboy in a nutshell.
I was just like, so and we've had terrible Crow sequels for years.
Yeah.
Like since
okay, so that's part 3 to being a fanboy. Entitlement. You have to have entitlement
you're
as well.
Just super entitled.
So you have to have unwavering devotion, gatekeeperism, and what we just said. It's gone out of my head already. Entitlement.
So, and now reversing back to the James Gunn, Zack Snyder thing. So, like Zack Snyder is somebody who blatantly shows like no respect, like Batman, because that's who I am. I grew up with Michael Keaton Batman. That was my first Batman, and then the animated series came out, and my dad introduced me to Adam West, and I've loved every Batman in my own sort of way.
You know, it's funny.
Growing up.
I think Adam West was my first Batman because I don't think I was allowed to see the original Batman movie. So I saw the Adam West version first.
Michael Keaton's my
quite
default.
a jump. Quite a jump for me.
And strangely enough, as of right now, Robert Pattinson is my favorite, even though Michael Keaton is like right there because of
he was
canon
really
for me.
Good.
Headcanon.
For me, I always go to Christian Bale as my Batman because that trilogy was what got me really invested in Batman and made me go, wow, I fucking love Batman.
That opened up a lot for Batman. See, I had this weird reverse
fucking
thing.
Chair, dude. My chair has made a comeback in this in our series.
It's our third host.
Matt's squeaky chair and featuring Matt's squeaky chair. All right, sorry.
So with Batman, I like how we were complaining about fanboys, but ultimately it's just me outing myself. But
it's just, both of us. I mean, I started it. So
with Batman specifically, and it's
a self-loathing episode.
In person, had this with a fanboy. So I'm one of the very few, and I understand it, that kind of liked BVS. I hated a lot about it, but I think every Batman scene was just dope. I am not bothered by Batman.
I love that you said BVS. You know, it took me about 30 seconds.
Oh, because I hate calling it.
You meant Batman versus Superman.
I hate that V instead of saying versus.
I hate that.
So but I don't want to call it a movie that it is not. So I'm just saying BVS.
Wait, it is versus.
But it's V. Nobody used V for versus.
Yeah, but
they use VS.
But it's V dot.
It's stupid.
Everybody
Who does
knows
that?
what it means.
Nobody ever typed V.
I'm not saying it's correct.
That movie.
I'm not saying it's correct, but you're supposed to know it.
And
it's
mind
supposed to mean versus.
That movie should have been like the fourth in the series of DC movies anyway. It should have been the fourth, but no, they just the WB. Whatever. I hate. It
ended up being the second. Right?
It ended up being the second. It was the second Superman movie
after Man of Steel.
Batman's first movie because Batman was supposed to have his own movie. Okay.
Yeah, it fell apart, right?
But I like the idea of a movie where Batman is the villain. I actually really like that. Like Batman post Jason Todd death in his darkest moment
He's just a little nuts.
Essentially splitting hairs between, brutality and manslaughter. Like splitting hairs between the two. I kind of like that growth period, and I'm willing to accept it. Not that I'm a huge fan of it, but I haven't seen that on screen yet. Last I had was Christian Bale's Batman, which I'm sorry, he's the most hypocritical of all the Batmen on screen. If you want proof, he keeps going, I don't kill. I'm never gonna kill. And he kills a bunch of people. Throughout the car wrecking begins.
You know what bothers me?
What's up?
How long ago were those movies? Like over 10 years ago now, right?
But yeah.
And people still do that joke.
Because that was the most. That was the most shocking. Because technically, he did what Michael Keaton did, but Michael Keaton whispered. And
Michael Keaton. Well, Michael Keaton, he did it like as a parody.
Yeah,
it sounded like a parody.
It was kind of cool, and he didn't speak a lot. He didn't have like monologues, like in the Batman voice. So he like actually separated. Where Christian Bale was like he was trying to be scary. Swear to me, like you remember that show Assy McGee from on Adult Swim? That's the voice that plays in my head as Batman's voice. Exactly. That's the voice that plays in my head as Batman.
Assy McGee. I forgot about Assy McGee. That was so good.
So Christian Bale was just trying so hard. And I'm like, do you also know that he seems like he has a lisp? Like as he's speaking as Batman, like his teeth don't fully close, and so he does this, so he then has to do this to make Mike it go Tyson. Away. Like, yeah, very similar. But I don't know. Did you
see Mike Tyson's going to fight Jake
I don't
Paul?
Give a shit.
Yeah, okay.
It's way past the time in which I would have cared. And
moving on.
And all I want to know is the result after it happens. I don't.
Yes,
that's it. And I don't know. I don't know if I trust Mike Tyson enough to not throw the fight. I know he.
For money.
Yeah, because I like Mike Tyson. I know he would just not beat the brakes off of him, even at his advanced age. But money talks. So.
No, I agree. And I mean, I've thought of a couple of Jake Paul's fights. I was thinking, I feel like he definitely paid them to not lose this fight, whether it was a draw or not.
You also, just so we point this out, he grows that beard so chin punches don't hurt as much. I'm just pointing that out.
Okay.
That's why people in that freaking slap fight thing, they grow beard. The dudes grow beards because it's a cushion. That's what hair does.
That's true.
But anyway, so Christian Bale's Batman is the biggest hypocrite of all of them. So that's why I've just grown over time to not like his interpretation of Batman. And
that's fair.
I just grew further away from it. But
you love Batman far more than anybody I know.
Yeah,
definitely more than me.
It's literally a part of my life. So that's why I understand where some fanboys get that, but but I feel like a fanboy loses the plot along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, where James Gunn, where Zack Snyder showed that he has zero understanding of Batman is when he was questioned about Batman killing. Now, mind you, fans have not really had that big of a problem about Batman killing prior to this. Like,
I don't know if anybody really had.
Comic book fans I guess they brought it up. The animated
big fanboys,
yes, but it wasn't like a big deal where they like went up in arms. Like Christian Bale's Batman didn't get any kind of flack when he machine gunned down a truck driver to get the bomb and then pretend he killed himself and to leave the city to heal on its own. So so they didn't have that big of a problem, but Zack Snyder said, well, when they said, Batman shouldn't kill, I just felt like I needed to do it. Mind you, that stuff is coming back. And it was like, well, we do know that we're playing a Batman who's at his lowest point. So when the movie did come out, I was at work and this fanboy thought he had me because he knew I was a Batman fan. He said, so how do you feel about Batman killing? And I went, I don't care. It works towards some growing. He's like, but he can't be Batman anymore because, because in the comics he gave that, and in the anime series he gave that slippery slope fallacy thing.
Right.
And went, well, wouldn't it be better if, he came back as a better man because he learned to forgive himself? and he grew up. And because I'm fine with it either way. I am. And he goes, so you mean to tell me he's just perfectly fine and he's forgiven? It was like, so you say that to soldiers when they come back from war? You killed people, so you're doomed for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
you should just feel that guilt forever. Some people will say yes. He didn't. He just kind of walked away.
Well, it's because you didn't fall into his spider web of trying to fanboy.
I wasn't gonna rage about that, and I know he's a fanboy character. He means a lot to me.
Rage.
Yeah, he means a lot to me because he's the only thing me and my dad got along about for a long time in our lives.
That's fair.
Like we just liked this character.
You know where else bugs me with fanboys? You see, you're not gonna relate to this as much, but sports fanboys.
Oh Jesus my Christ, God!
You know what I run into I run into sports fanboys on social media all the time. The type that drive me the craziest are the type that think that they know better how to run a team than a GM and a head coach.
Yep.
That are paid millions of dollars to do it.
Yep.
So I bring it up because it's today's the trade deadline, or the trade deadline was a couple hours ago.
Okay.
For the NHL for the year. So it's I don't know who listens to this that likes sports, but the basics of it is once the trade deadline comes, all the teams that are sucky try to trade their good players to teams that are doing well and are going to get into the playoffs for future considerations like draft picks and stuff. And then all the good teams try to get those good players so that they can amp up their team for the playoffs.
Yep.
So right around this time now, when all these moves get made, you get all the fanboys coming out that are like, that's the dumbest trade ever. I would have made this trade. And blah, blah's an idiot for. And it's like, you don't know any of the behind the scenes. You don't know who they tried to get. You don't know what offers they made. But
what the money pool is that they have to
Right. These fuckers on Twitter that are just like, or Facebook or
just
anyone
who's willing to step on their soapbox.
Yeah, just go on and on about how they should be running the team because they know the right way. I can't believe the team's playing this way. Why don't they do this differently? It's like, fucker, they got a coach, man, who's paid millions of dollars and has been doing this for 20 years. Okay, they don't need your dumb ass on Facebook or on Twitter telling them how to run the team. Oh my God, those fanboys drive me crazy. Like I can look at trades and be like the Rangers, my team, made a couple trades for players that I'm not crazy about or I don't know a lot about. But I look at it and I just go, I don't know a lot about those players because they're not some of the stars that were available. So for all I know, they're going to make a big difference on the team. Like, I don't know. So like, would it have been great if they got one of the, the big fish, as they say, that were available? Sure. But I don't know what the situations was. I don't know what the circumstances were. So the players they got, I'm going to assume that they knew what they were doing. Right. Well, oh my God, that shit drives me crazy. And this is the time of year it happens the most. I mean, it happens in the playoffs too, when teams get eliminated and they're, in game 6, they should have started this goalie because he clearly was the fresher of the two. And, the other one got beat bad the previous. Like, they make these they act like they know what they're fucking talking about.
Absolutely.
And they're just those types of fanboys that like, I get it. When we talk sports, people say, we did this, we did that. I'm a fan of this team. We went out and got this player. We won last night. Yeah, but that's just how we talk. Yeah. And to be fair, the teams are good about it. Like they talk about how the fans are the sixth man, on the ice, or the 12th player on the field, or whatever it is.
Multi-armed, multi-limbed sixth man on the ice.
They can have an effect. Like,
it's morale.
Like, at a hockey game, you got all those. It boosts morale when people are screaming and the other team can't hear what's going on because they're getting booed so bad. They literally can't hear each other talking to each other, and it makes it harder to play. Like, it can happen, but we say we, right? So like, we're so invested that we say we think we're part of this group, but you can't go the extra step where you think you should be doing the job of another person. Or when they get on a player like, he fucking sucks this year. Like, dude,
you don't know
he's
what's
a
going
professional
on in
hockey player. Like, have you ever skated in your life? Probably not, you fucking asshole. Did you make the NHL? No. You probably played pond hockey when you were 12.
Everybody's the coach for Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, fuck, just go fuck. Those fanboys in sports drive me fucking crazy. Like music fanboys, fangirls.
Oh wait,
I don't know.
before you go to music, I was gonna say
Sorry.
no, you're good. With sports fans, I did come across one thing. It was people complaining about this boxer, because I used to love boxing. Oh,
Okay.
although Floyd Mayweather ruined it for me because he was just so goddamn boring. I don't, and there's fans who might come at me about that, but he was just boring. And I'm sorry, boxing
No,
needs to
he
be
was known
entertaining.
for that.
Boxing,
He was known for that.
he was
A lot of
smart. He was a
clinching, a lot
smart
of holds.
he was a smart technical fighter. He was dodgy. He waited out his opponent, but he was boring, just boring to watch. And he was arrogant on top of being boring.
Well, the UFC's the same way. There are some guys
yeah.
that like they do a lot of grappling, they do a lot of back, and it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we want to watch guys punch the shit out.
Yeah,
of
like
each other,
winning
beat the
is
shit
a
out of each
part
other.
of the entertainment, not the entertainment. But
Right,
and
right.
people who like him, I feel like are just like, yeah, I don't have sex. I just jerk off to finish. Like, like they're like those people. They just care about the end and that's it. But
yeah.
there's
That's a
this
good
boxer.
metaphor.
There's this boxer named Ben Whitaker, who reminds me of an older boxer. I can't
Okay.
remember his name right now, but he dances. Like their style is that they dance and they kind of like they showboat a little bit. And this guy,
Yep,
it's not
I
even
totally
a little
know what
bit.
you're
He
talking
showboats a lot. Like he mostly will not block a punch. He will dodge under it and then swing around and then do a dance move or something. And people are just like, he's disrespectful. He's a
moonwalking.
shame. He's a disgrace to boxing. But first of all, boxing is on life support. Like we need somebody like this. But second of all, it's like
I
boxing
agree.
styles. This is a style that should be accepted because it's a tactic. And it's a really good tactic that is entertaining. It's sports entertainment. Sports are generally entertainment.
There's an equivalent to this in the NHL. I'll talk about it when you're done.
No, that was it. Like it was disgusting how like people who are such fans feel like, it has to be this way and this is the way it needs to be.
Very pure.
And it's just like
it's the same thing with the NHL, with the Michigan goal. I don't know if you know what that is.
Don't know what that is.
It's essentially where these very few incredibly skilled players can essentially push the puck down on the ice with their stick and then lift it up into the air on their stick and then essentially throw it in like the top of the net. So instead of shooting
I've seen somebody do that.
They're literally picking the net up, the puck up on their stick and then like dropping it in the top over the goalie's shoulder.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard to do. It doesn't happen often, but within the last 2 or 3 years, it's become a thing. There's 2 or 3 players in the league that are good at it and can do it. In fact, the first player that did it was this player, Andrei Svechnikov. So they call it the Svechnikov now, even though there's another player, Trevor Zegras, that's done it like 4 or 5 times now. But there are so many old school hockey players that are just so against it. They're like, fuck that shit. That is not hockey play. And I see it like in my head. I'm like, I don't know if that's fair.
Old school
but then
hockey
the other
players, I'm fine with because they were hockey players.
Well, the other, you're right. But the other argument is what you're saying. Most people argue. The argument is we want to grow the game. People see this clip and see this flashy thing. They're like, holy shit, how do you do that? It gets them interested. So people want to see those flashy, crazy moves because it gets more fans to come to the sport. So it's the same thing, though. You've got these fanboys that are old school hockey fans, old school hockey players. There's a couple coaches that are considered old school coaches that have very vehemently spoken out. John Tortorella, very vehemently spoken out against it about how it's bad for the game and stuff. And then you got, like I said, you got the other side of people like, no, it's great for the game. It's getting people to watch. It gets people to see this YouTube. The YouTube clip of the one player doing it for the first time was like the most watched NHL clip ever. And they're like, this is good. So it happens. It happens in sports, with that people just get stuck in their ways. I guess that's another fanboy trait, very stuck in their way. Has to be the way. We talked about it, canon and stuff too.
But
that's,
as you were saying,
the other one.
Yeah. So as you were saying about music fans, our
just
Taylor Swift fans or BTS fans or
BTS, Beyonce, all those super fans that are complete. We've talked about celebrity hero worship before. That kind of goes hand in hand with the super fans of musicians.
Like they could just not have any bad songs. I'm sorry.
Fairly harmless.
I mean,
in most cases, except when they swarm.
So, well, that means
to someone's defense.
Like there's a a commentator, Meat Canyon. I think we've talked about him before.
We've talked about him. He's
who got attacked by
awesome.
Swifties. Did he? He got like death threats and everything because he made a parody video about Taylor Swift.
That's what I'm talking about. When they swarm and they go attack someone.
What is wrong with
That's when they're bad.
And what he said, all he did, I mean, this it's not outside of his purview to do. He turned her into a hive mind creature with her fans. Right. And so when her boyfriend breaks up with her, she turns into a creature. It was like, in them doing that, they literally, and mind you, I don't think Taylor Swift even saw it or cared.
No, of course she didn't.
But thanks to you, maybe her feelings got hurt because that got brought up somehow.
Yeah.
Because you guys went nuts and made it a bigger thing.
And you took the video you're shitting on and made it a reality.
Yeah. The only
like
good
you
thing
are hive mind.
I've known that Swifties did, which was also very, very soon after the Meat Canyon thing, was when the AI stuff about Taylor Swift came out, they started spamming to get rid of it, and they literally crushed it like a fire.
And that's kind of what I mean. Like, and a lot of times they're fairly harmless. I don't see them being like. They feel
keep
like
to themselves
music
like hornets.
But like music fans in general aren't like, they're not gatekeeping, and they're like, a lot of times they're okay with when the artist goes another way, another direction, so the canon stuff doesn't really apply.
Not go too well.
I don't know anything about BTS, dude. You're asking the wrong person. I just know they're a bunch of Korean boys that kind of look like girls.
Yeah, they all have the same haircut. No,
they all have the same haircut.
There was somebody that I know that is really into BTS or however that works out.
Did you say BDSM?
No, you fool.
BTS. Okay.
and they're in the BTS, and I made
that's where you whip each other, fast. Right?
Only with a safe word. And
BTS. My safe word is BTS.
And I forget, like, I think one was like Gakko or something. I can't remember. But Jihoon.
Gakko?
Or Jihoon.
I know that name. Jihoon is definitely one. But or maybe that was the guy on 90 Day Fiancé.
Or 90 Day Fiancé. It's a Korean name. I don't know. But they ended up like, or I think it's Gakupo. It might be. It's one of those names. But one of them went solo, and fans went nuts on him for going solo. Like, it was like the opposite of what happened with Beyonce.
Okay.
And I was just like, that is unhinged behavior.
A little bit. I mean, yeah.
Like, you are, and I know that we have the new term parasocial relationship or whatever.
I've never heard that term.
It's really when you have a relationship, when you develop you're going to learn an emotional relationship with usually an entertainer or a public figure that has no idea or no clue who you are.
Oh, okay. Yep. So a fanboy.
Yeah. There's a term apparently, and it's called having a parasocial relationship. And it's like, they replied.
Parasocial relationship.
Yeah, he's going to look up the actual definition.
One-sided psychological connection between an audience and a celebrity, that's a fucking fanboy. They invest time, and interest, and emotional energy into the other who is unaware of their existence. People used to have like a mailing fan club. That's a fanboy. Yeah, they used to have back in the day before social media, they used to have like fan clubs. It was the one that really looked nuts. Like, do you want to join my fan club? We got the magazine. We send letters to them every week. Like, you have Twitter now. It happens one day she's
constantly.
Gonna write me back.
And
she's gonna write me back, I swear.
And most of these people
I wrote a letter. I sent her a lock of my hair, and I sent her a lock of my pubes, and she still hasn't written back, but I'm pretty sure she got them. And I told her to smell them because I used Head & Shoulders shampoo, and it smelled really good. And I told her that I used Pert Plus too, and I told her it smelled really good. And she's gonna write me back, and she's gonna tell me that my pubes smell really good.
And most of the time, those are just their publicists tweeting back at you or liking stuff.
Oh,
it's not like them actually doing it.
The majority of celebrities on Twitter, they are not running their Twitter. Look at Joe Biden. Remember that recent story where his press secretary accidentally tweeted one of her tweets out of his account?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, his press secretary put out a tweet that was clearly supposed to be for the press secretary page, but she tweeted it onto the Joe Biden account.
That's
clearly. But
that's because Trump was the only one I believe that ever used Twitter.
Yes,
he's the
only that's what I mean. When that happened, I was like,
him and Ted Cruz.
Yeah, and who thinks that Joe Biden's actually tweeting? He's like a million.
That man was like way.
He doesn't know how to use a smartphone.
Exactly. Like he
You
was
said
around
Twitter, and he thinks that's like a
actual
slur of some
bird.
sort from the 50s. Yeah. Like, oh, those fucking Twitters.
Oh my
I
god.
remember back. I remember back when we used to
When-
call them Twitters by the side of the pool, and old One-Eyed Joe came up to me.
I remember when we sent letters when we had to go like, I stop, miss,
Come on,
stop,
man.
you stop.
We used to have to tap it in a little machine. We just tap the button. Come on, guys. You got to tap the buttons and send out Twitter to people. Okay?
Like it's
That's all I'm
just
trying to say, folks.
when we had to pick up the phone, we had to talk to the operator first before we could get anywhere.
We'd say, hey, operator, can I talk to that ice cream man? He hasn't come around my neighborhood lately. And I want to talk to the ice cream. I don't know why Joe Biden's Southern.
I don't know either. But I'm
I don't do a
enjoying
good
it.
Joe Biden. I
don't
don't do a
think-
good Joe Biden.
Because he doesn't have really like beyond being an old
He just
man.
says,
He
folks.
doesn't have
He just
much of-
talks real slow and says folks a lot. Oh, come on, folks. And he sounds kind of like he's got a little mush mouth. That's all,
Well, I
folks.
mean, his
Come
mouth, his entire face is.
He doesn't have
melted.
any teeth. I mean, he doesn't have any
it's
teeth, I'm
like-
sure. Most of the time, he's probably got fake teeth in, so sometimes he takes them out and he's talking and he sound a lot bit like this.
Man,
Okay.
I'm back in the days where I miss George W. Bush. I honestly miss
I
that
do
man.
too. I would go back to George W. Bush in a heartbeat at this point.
Like, just I
When
know
I
that
was
was
at
like
the,
right during a major tragedy, and I get it, and that's what I'm saying because
I guess we're done with fanboys, so
Yeah.
we'll move on to just whatever bullshit we
well,
want to get out of the way.
I'm
here at
closing
the end.
up, but I just like
Yeah.
I've been so worn down, and it's like one terrible event, and then everything else is just a ripple effect after that. And this is just my
Yeah.
personal feelings, obviously my personal feelings on it in my own personal bubble. It just feels like that ripple effect is constantly hitting, and now it's just a bunch of tiny tragedies
Here
that
and
are
there,
just
yeah.
wearing the bubble down. Like,
Yep.
and I don't get upset about like celebrities passing. I sometimes
that,
do, like
Arkanoid game.
yeah,
You know, where you start with one ball and then you get the little upgrade and it shoots out
Yep.
3 more little balls.
and now you're
and then you get another
panicking, trying
upgrade
to
and it
catch
just
up.
Just keeps shooting out more and more balls.
See, for me, I was thinking more along the lines of, and this is going to be a deep cut for some people out there, for
Deep
Drakengard. Drakengard was like Square Enix's first attempt at like hack and slash, one of their first
Okay.
attempts. And the final boss is literally an almost impossible rhythm action boss. And
Weird.
out of nowhere, you're fighting this giant creature while you're flying on a
Like
dragon.
Gitaru Man type
very,
style?
very similar. It spits out black and white rings.
Call back to Gitaru Man.
love
Awesome
Gitaru
fucking
Man.
game with great music.
I-
Anyway.
We need a comeback of like the music genre games, and I'm not talking about
I-
like just Dance Dance Revolution. I mean,
my cousin that
like,
whom
everything.
you know
Yeah.
was telling me the other day they got an old Rock Band set, and I was like, oh my god, I want to come play Rock Band.
Yeah, I used my friends and I used to every week meet
Yep,
up and
so-
be a fake
so did we.
band for hours.
I had a buddy. I went over his house once a week at least, and we would all, we have somebody else or his girlfriend would contribute, and we would just play Rock Band for hours. Yeah,
And what was really great is that group I played with was also my D&D group. So we literally were just like role playing like the background of the guys, not rolling dice or anything, but like saying what was going on. Like I was an overly because I played lead singer, so I was just like I was very vain, and I was like I would change my dude
Rock Band.
every time. Like he just always
Oh,
looked different
Jesus
and annoy
Christ.
the rest of the band, and we just have fun. It was just pure fun.
It was. Those were the days.
Yep. Now we all just grew apart, and again after like the Trump election and all that,
Yeah.
the friend group exploded apart, where just like different political
Yeah, it's so bad.
views and
I went to the
that just like
when I was at
ruined
the
it.
barbershop today. My bar was like, "Oh, did you see the Trump talking about Fonnie Willis?" And he
Who?
was okay. Trump's Georgia trial, where he's
Oh,
with the election, trying to rig the election or subvert the election, right?
hmm
She's the prosecutor. So I'm just going to try to summarize this as best of my knowledge. She's currently being investigated in hearings because they're alleging that she hired this gentleman who was at the time her boyfriend to prosecute the Trump case. I don't know what that has to do with the Trump case and why it would make her.
it slows things down. That's all I can imagine.
I guess I don't know how it exactly. I guess I could see it affecting her ability to be in office, but I don't know how it affects the Trump case specifically. But like she says that
conflict of
they,
interest, maybe.
conflict of, that's what they're saying, but I don't understand how. Anyway, but they're saying that she hired who essentially was her boyfriend,
Okay.
and paid him way more money than the other assistant district attorneys and people she was hiring on to like help with stuff, whatever. And she claims it was after the Trump case started, but there's like all this evidence that says it was before. So anyway, I guess Trump was like at a rally and he was like, "What about this Fani Willis? Yeah, she paid her boyfriend $1 million. She says he hired him, and he's not a very good lawyer. He's not a very good lawyer. I know what she gave him that $1 million for. He's really good at the boom boom." Like, that's apparently what he said at the rally.
I mean, you are the expert, Mr. Trump, you know, in regards to Stormy
I know.
Daniels. Like, you
You're
gave her a
paying for
lot of
sex,
money
yeah.
for the boom boom. So, I mean,
But
sure.
He's like, "That guy's great." And I was like, he's great if you want to laugh at a guy being an idiot and an asshole. He's not great to run a country. And
See,
they were
my
like,
thing
"He's
is-
better than Joe Biden." I was like, neither of them are good to run a
Neither of
country.
them were good. Neither of them should have been the top
And they-
billing.
They were like, "Well, those are your choices." And I was like, "Nope, I got another choice. I'm going to vote for a third party candidate, like the Libertarian candidate or something." They were like, "Well, waste your vote." And I didn't think of it at the time. I was like, I'm in New York. All our votes are wasted. The Democrat's going to win no matter what. So if you vote for Trump, you're wasting your vote too.
Here's the thing. When people say that, and this is also leading towards the fans, they know that the game is rigged, but they're still gonna like vouch for their team.
Right.
And it's just like,
absolutely,
you literally
Oh,
are.
dude.
You are literally voting for the two-headed dragon. Guess what?
We
You're
didn't
still
even-
getting the dragon.
We didn't even get into political supporters because they
Yeah.
are the
Oh, yeah.
ultimate fucking fanboys. Whether it's
I was hoping you
libtards
would-
or MAGA.
Yeah.
What's the word they use for MAGA? Derogatory thing they say. MAGA.
Just MAGA?
Mag holes.
Mag holes.
Whatever.
I think it was mag holes.
Whether you're a
Even though-
libtard or a MAGA, you are the ultimate fanboys when it comes to like literally controlling aspects of your life and the way your life is going to
in
roll
the most
out.
simplistic terms of the fanboys on each side of that is, for me, the libtards are all hypocrites because they preach one thing but they react a completely different way that is not
Sure.
that of being a liberal. And
No argument for
the
me.
MAGA, their ethos doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, make America great again. When? The 1950s,
When was it
when
great?
people were telling them to kiss their own behind as
You mean great
as
when
if
white people had it great.
A rocket's gonna hit. Like, it just sounds like a dog whistle to me.
Jordan Klepper's
very
done that a
obvious
million
dog
times.
whistle.
I'm
Like-
sure you've watched Jordan Klepper videos, right?
No,
You've never watched Jordan Klepper?
I don't even know who that is.
He's on the Daily Show, but there's a bunch of videos on YouTube if you look him up where he goes to MAGA rallies or MAGA
but when
events
was the great
and just
time?
talks to them. He
But
just
I've been-
talks to them
Since that
and shows how
brand-
dumb they are.
Yeah, since that brand came up, I've been asking, and I don't mean to ask even to to say that I'm smarter. I am genuinely asking because if you're just going to say I'm racist, then please just say it, because I am getting quite tired of having to question what the context is to every bit of information that's given to me.
No, you're right.
Because
But he does that.
was America so great that we need to go back to that
He-
time?
He asked that exact question because he goes out and like, we just want to make it. And he's like, well, when was America great? And they're like, I don't know, 1950s. And he's like, oh, so when it was great for white people is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Not
well,
even white
yeah.
people, white guys. Because white women
guys,
had
men, yes.
generally had to stay home unless there was a war
Yes.
going on.
I
And
think you may be right. He may just say, you
it
mean
was
for when it
okay
was
for
good
them to
white
get
men.
beaten.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and mind you, back in those times, and we have movies to prove and documentaries to prove that back then it was just the great pretend time where we were so okay with just pretending that everything was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make that argument, isn't now when America has been greatest? Like, there's the least amount of that stuff, and things are
But
overall the
great
best
for
for the
who?
people.
Simply
For
that.
everybody.
So the ethos is broken. The ethos
I'm not
for
saying-
liberals,
Look,
for me, just changes too often, and they still never keep to it because they want to win.
I'm not trying to say that America is great. I'm saying,
Yes.
when was it greatest? Probably now. I mean, if you consider all things considered, it's not great for everybody. But
Yeah.
if you're going to talk about when it's been the greatest, now's probably the most tolerant time and the most, prosperous
So,
time for most people.
The
or
main question
for
is
a majority
in
of
which
people.
way?
But yes, but True, sure.
Because
I'm
I've
just
been
gonna shut
hearing
up
my
before I
entire
sound like a racist.
yeah, I've been hearing my entire life that Mexicans are stealing jobs, yet I see a bunch of those people are complaining about it working. I see them all working.
Thing I've ever
I've
heard.
seen them working for years. Since I was a little kid, that's been a thing. And I've yet to see people coming up from south of the border stealing jobs where nobody is working.
Well, one of the things they wanted to put in the I think the latest border bill that has been not Republicans won't pass was that U.S. employers had to first offer those jobs to American citizens that typically immigrants are doing.
But that doesn't even matter because remember when COVID was a thing and then people...
I'm just saying to prove the point that they don't want those jobs.
They don't want those jobs. But no, not even that point. I don't even care about that point. When people stopped working because they found out we weren't getting paid enough to do the shit we were doing during COVID when they were paying people to stay home and stuff like that, then all of a sudden, nobody wants to work. And they were going up in arms about that. So which one is it and how long it doesn't they jump from topic to topic and it's still
your brain's gonna explode.
They don't lead into one another.
You're trying to make sense of nonsense. Your brain's going to explode.
I'm not even trying to make sense of it. I'm just trying to say it, but I would just jump to a completely different thing.
That's hard enough.
And the freaking political fans that are okay with it are just you know what? My biggest problem with political fans are they're willing to completely ignore common sense because they're apparently political fans for the greater good, but they're going to, but they don't, they don't care about the greater good. They care about winning so much that they're willing to destroy any bit of merit that they would have to have their side win. They don't care about the greater good.
I 100% agree with you.
And the problem with political fanboys and fangirls beyond anything else is simply that it affects people's lives. Where comic books, movies, music, all that stuff, it's only the most extreme cases affect people's lives.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the worst kind of fanboyism because you're literally dealing with something that affects your life, not like you said, a comic.
And they just
or a
don't
movie.
care about people's lives, and it's disgusting.
Well, that's a fun way to end.
Yep.
So guys, next week on the podcast, we're actually going to be joined by a buddy of mine, an acquaintance of mine, Kevin Shaman. He's going to join us.
Yay.
Joaquin doesn't know him. He's somebody I've talked to many times in the past and actually has been on the opposite side of a lot of discussions with me, but is a guy that I can have a civil conversation with and we can chat about things and make our points and not just be assholes or dicks about it, which is hard to find these days. So
I hope he could be a passive asshole, so it's fun.
Well, that's fun. But I'm excited to have somebody. The problem, we agree on almost way too much.
Yeah, we found out
hard
throughout the journey of this show that we agree on way too much. I mean,
we've done 43 episodes now, and we've agreed on most of the topics we've covered. So his proposal for next week was the the participation trophy generation. We want to talk about that. So we're going to talk about participation trophies and the generation they've created and that kind of culture with Kevin next week. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have a third voice on the podcast and have somebody for us to bounce off of. And I don't know, maybe you and him shit on me, or me and him shit on you, or we shit on him,
or it's just a three-way argument. Like he just builds something in us where we just actually
start fighting. Again, to be clear, not shit. When I say shit on him, it's just argue.
We know
debate.
Superficial. It's all superficial.
Right. Superficial arguing. Yes.
Again, I don't know him, but I offer him the same amount of respect I'll offer anybody.
Absolutely.
Just meeting them and knowing what we're going into,
I wouldn't invite somebody on that I thought was going to be a complete dick, So unless it was for us to just make them feel bad about being a dick. Jesus. That's not it, Kevin, I swear.
Please don't cancel on us.
So that's our topic for next week. So I'll ask again, even though you motherfuckers don't seem to want to answer. You can send us an email or you can leave us a voicemail if you have any thoughts on participation trophies and the culture they create. ATIWIHY.com.
Instead of posting...
I cut you off.
No, that's fine. I was getting ready to just jump in. But instead of posting on Twitter, post that thought to us. Oh, you
Yeah,
can even post
you
it on
can-
Twitter. Just copy it from Twitter and post it to us. But
There you
please
go.
do
You
that.
can email podcast@atiwihy.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 929-564-4262. Or again, you can go to the website and send a message there. So yeah, that's it. Some t-shirts in the store if you guys want to check out. There's a few new t-shirts in the store if you're interested in those. And I guess that's it. I don't really have anything else to add. What about you?
Nope, I've said way too much today.
I just want to say fart.
Asshole.
Should be fun next week. Anybody else wants to guest on the show, by the way, feel free to shoot us a message.
It actually would be really cool. Like, I would love to have more people talking.
Yeah, I think it would be good to have more guests on the show going forward. So email us, message us on Facebook or Twitter or wherever or whatever. Peace.
Later.